Imagine this, you're on a deadline and you need to find somebody fast. What do? Well, maybe it's a debtor who vanished, or a witness who's just nowhere to be found, or even someone that's purposely ducking legal service. I might have known one of those in my past. And you've tried phone calls, you've tried emails, and maybe some even late night Facebook stalking that you thought would do the trick. But guess what? Every lead turns into a dead end. So here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people think that finding someone is as easy as going onto Google, typing in their name, and boom, a search just pulls up everything. Wrong-o. In today's world, in digital jungle, the hardest people to find are the ones who actually don't want to be found, believe it or not. And if you take the wrong approach, guess what? Not only will you fail, but you could even break the law. So how do the real pros do it? How do you skip the dead ends and find people fast and legally at that? Welcome to the world of skip tracing. But the story isn't as simple as it seems. So let's rewind a bit. There was actually a time in the past, maybe your parents or your grandparents remember, when finding someone meant knocking on the door, flipping through phone books, or waiting for them to show up at their local bar. And today, everyone leaves a trail. The patchwork of digital crumbs scattered across social media, databases, and legal records you would think is going to help you find them. But here's the twist. Those breadcrumbs don't make finding someone easier, they actually make it harder. Because now those people that you're looking for actually know how to cover their tracks. Whether it's a runaway debtor, a missing witness, or a tenant gone rogue who's bashed and thrashed your house, the stakes have never been higher. And also, the game has evolved. We're not just searching, we're literally investigating. So who actually uses skip tracing and why does it matter so much? Not to mention, maybe you've never even heard the term before. But let's talk about the high stakes and who would actually find a use in this. Number one is attorneys. Why? The entire legal process can grind to a complete halt if you can't serve someone a subpoena or a complaint. No service, no case. However, if ultimately everything else fails, you can't serve them by public notice. But I digress. Number two, debt collectors. If someone owes money and completely ghosts you, collections could go cold unless you can track them down. Number three, private investigators. Tons of private investigators use this. Missing persons, estranged relatives, runaway tenants or children. Every cold trail is literally a puzzle to solve. And number four, insurance and real estate pros. Fraud, fake claims, absentee owners. Sometimes the only way forward is to find the person who vanished. And these aren't the only people who use this. There's many more. And in all these worlds, skip tracing isn't just a luxury. It's literally the lifeline of trying to find someone and get the job done. And here's the kicker. In many cases, if you don't find them, everything else stops. So here's where the friction comes in, because this isn't just a game of casual searching online. Try to do it yourself and you'll hit massive walls and roadblocks. Why? Number one is access. Most of the juicy, actionable data like current addresses, asset info, employment, phone numbers, all of that stuff lives behind licensed professional databases. If you're just searching Google, you're looking through a keyhole while the real action happens elsewhere. Number two, complexity. Public records are a complete mess. Multiple names, multiple aliases, duplicate addresses, outdated info, and so much more problems. If you chase the wrong lead, you're wasting valuable time, or worse, you could serve the wrong person and it's legally problematic for you. Number three, the law. The nightmare scenario is this. Imagine you try to be a clever investigator on your own and you cross a legal line. You impersonate law enforcement, massively illegal. You should already know that by now. Access private records without permission, also illegal. They could call that hacking as well, depending on how you access. Even something as simple as excessive phone calls, you could be hit with harassment. There are federal rules like the FCRA and GLBA and new state laws, especially in places like, guess, California, that mean one wrong move can cost you big and actually put you in the frame of a lawsuit. So skip tracing isn't just about finding someone, it's about not getting burned while you do it correctly. So what does real professional skip tracing look like? It's part art, it's part science, and it's about knowing where and how to look for the person. i.e. investigative skills. Step 1, gather everything. Start with the basics: name, old addresses, known associates, employment, even hobbies and things they do extracurricular, right? Small details matter big time. Maybe a previous zip code or a friend's Instagram tag. Everything gets cross-referenced and considered. Step 2, layer the data. You as a skip tracer will scour certain things like 1, public records, property filings, court cases, licenses, tax data. Number 2, social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, even TikTok for the young or elusive that don't want to be found. Number 3, private license databases like TLOXP, Occurrent, LexisNexis, and many others, which by the way, are only available to pros and with a subscription and verification that you have a PI license. Step 3, the human touch. Sometimes it's the old school approach, but it works best. A call to a former neighbor, a polite inquiry with a previous employer, or reading between the lines on a social post, seeing where they visited, what they're doing, maybe where they're hanging out. That's why you got to be careful with what you post online as a pro tip. These basic skip tracers ultimately know how to listen, what questions to ask, and when a no really means not yet. And step 4, cross-reference and confirm. Here's a pro secret. Never just trust one source. Never. Is there a social post from the city? Do the utilities match? Is there recent mail? Does the job location fit the commute from the address? It's all about building a web of clues until one thread reveals the real current location. So why not just do it yourself? Understandably, you'd want to, but here's the plot twist. DIY skip tracing works until it doesn't. You'll hit a wall with access, expertise, legal risk, and you'll be chasing false leads, risking privacy law violations, and worst of all, you might waste days and end up on a complete dead end, or end up in a lawsuit. Meanwhile, a professional can get results in mere hours or minutes, believe it or not, at least a lot faster than you can, and I know from using them in the past. Because why? They have access to real data, legal training, and experience to tell a dead end from a real one. Not to mention, there's specific access to these platforms and programs that you don't. Sorry, but not sorry. And when you're up against legal deadlines, high stakes debt, or cases that simply just can't wait, every single hour counts. So let's get real here. Miss a court deadline, the case might collapse. Send a process server to the wrong address, the whole investigation stalls. Trust the wrong info, you get exposed legally and financially. You have to ask yourself a question. Do you want to end up in a lawsuit over something when you could hire somebody else to do the dirty work for you? Skip tracing isn't just a cool detective trick. It's often the difference between a win and a loss, between getting paid or nothing, and between justice or a case that never even starts. So wait. Here's what almost nobody tells you that's imperative to know. Number 1, skip tracing is legal, but only if you follow the rules. Most amateurs don't even know what those are. So you're gonna spend hours trying to investigate what the rules are when somebody else could be cracking the case during the same time. Number 2, batch skip tracing. What is this? It's a thing. For big projects, multiple people, large portfolios, pros often use specialized tools to do dozens or hundreds of people at once, something totally out of reach for a person like you. Number 3, the best skip tracers are part investigator, part analyst, and part counselor. That's right, counselor. It's about finding people, yes, but it's also about navigating the laws and sometimes even diffusing tense situations, including ethics and behavior profiling. And last but not least, sometimes the smallest detail, like a tagged photo or an old union membership, cracks the entire case wide open. So if you've ever thought people can't just vanish, right? You're wrong. Think again. In the modern world, finding someone who doesn't want to be found is a superpower. It's not just about the tools, it's about the expertise that goes along with it. Legal know-how and also relentless curiosity, i.e. investigative skills. And when it matters most, when a case, a payout, or justice is on the line, the right skip tracer can make the impossible possible. So next time you're faced with the impossible task of finding someone, don't think that Google's got your back end and don't rely on them. Know when it's time to call the pros. It's safer, faster, and almost always the difference between frustration and success. You want to see how the pros do it, or you need help tracking someone down the right way? Find a PI or an ex-FBI agent who can skip trace the person of interest. It's as simple as that. And make your next case a complete win, not a loss of your time and frustration. So thanks for watching, and remember, in skip tracing, it's literally not about who you know, it's about how you find them legally, smartly, and that is what sets you apart.